Hi everyone, welcome back to SwitchUp. Now we are looking to give away a Switch 2 around the launch of that console, which will be pretty sweet. But I had an email from the guy that won the Tears of the Kingdom Nintendo Switch OLED. He is absolutely delighted, and we're going to try and get a photo or something to show, because his whole thing was he was going to give it to I think it was like his niece or something like that. So that would be sweet, but I'm glad that actually arrived safe and sound. If you'd like to win a free game each and every week, just leave your comments down below and we just pick someone randomly, and that's it really. This week you have got lowest ever price after lowest ever price and games that I've never seen go on sale. Is that a good thing? I don't know. FarmUp fans, stick around to the end. I've got you covered. Alright, what are the best games on sale? Well, let's find out. I should have said you might as well save yourself 5% more on these games by buying your eShop credit over at SwitchUp.gg. You get it in cashback on any purchase you make. So you buy your eShop credit there, happy days, save yourself 5%. First up, you've got BATON RPG 1 and 2, the HD remaster, published by Bandai and developed by, I think it's like a collaboration, maybe between Monolith and Logical Beat, but it's 60% off until May the 15th and has 11.6 gig download. Now, this is a remastered collection of two classic JRPGs, Eternal Wings and The Lost Ocean and Origins, and it's set on floating sky continents. You act as the guardian spirit, guiding the protagonists through what is essentially a card-based Magnus battle system. That's not Magnus Mitbo, he's not going to rock up and start bouldering. In fact, this is something quite unique within a world of, that at the time especially was saturated with JRPGs. It just makes the combat a little more interesting by adding in a deck building element of sorts, which has quite a bit of nuance to it as well. This really reminded me of going back to some of my favorites as a kid, some of the classic Final Fantasy games, but there were also a couple that I know I missed that seem to reflect this perhaps a bit better. Now, the main storyline, you're looking at about 50 hours and then up to, I'd say 200 hours across both games easily. Far too much time for me, but if you are after a nice chunky set of games that shows some good remastered love, then consider this one. And if you want to know more, go check out our video. That's BATON RPG 1 and 2 HD remaster, 60% off until May the 15th.
どこかへ向かおうとする思いのままに。いいつね、お前に。
Now, Ravenswatch has suffered, I think, as a result of coming too late in the day. This one released this January, which was just too late for it to come to the Switch in my opinion, but there's a solid experience there. But as soon as I say it, you're gonna go, oh, I get why it hasn't done so well. It's a top-down roguelike action game. We've seen 10 a penny of them, and unfortunately, people have just got a bit saturated. However, they are still incredibly good games when they're done well. This one features 9 different heroes, and it comes from the same team that created Curse of the Dead Gods, Past Tech Games. They've taken the formula that was good there, but perhaps not great, and reworked it into this experience that also has online co-op. You've got 3 large maps to explore. You can gradually unlock the narrative arc, I guess, of each playable character, and it does replayability very well. You've got 200 different talents, lots of different difficulty modes to fiddle around with, but it's the core gameplay that's done really well. Now, I was a big Curse of the Dead Gods fan, so I already like this team. I like what they do and the way they do it. But if you skip to Ravenswatch for whatever reason, this is its cheapest ever price, 50% off until May the 24th, and just a 3.7 gig download.
This will be a picnic in the forests.
Another cheapest ever price is the Turok Trilogy bundle. You're getting all 3 games that were put into the Kex engine, reworked by Nightdive Studios, and I guess released back into the world running at 60 FPS, and with the option for fog if you want to keep it. They're old school first-person shooters, but they had a little bit more to them. You know, you had your Dooms and your Quakes, the things where you just basically shot continuously, and then you had your Turoks that felt like they had a little bit more, things like platforming in them. You had weapons that weren't your standard, things like bow and arrow, and they introduced gyroscopic controls, so happy days. You can guarantee as well, can't you, that Nightdive are the kind of team that will release patches for all of these games so that you can use mouse mode and things like that. So I'm highly confident of that actually. Just the way that their CEO talks about game preservation. He has this attitude of he's a gamer before he is like a, I don't know, studio head, if that makes sense. So this as a trilogy bundle for all 3 remastered games is a delightful little purchase, an absolute bargain. That's Turok the Trilogy Bundle, £13.25, 75% off until May the 11th. Yes, please. They're making another game, aren't they? I'm sure I saw a trailer for it, so I'm looking forward to that as well. I remember picking up Shadow Man Remastered on my Nintendo 64. I was telling my parents that it was a nice family-friendly game. I don't know why they fell for it with the thumbnail of this one, but they did, and I'm glad they did. The first 2 hours of it, I thought, this is terrible. I remember thinking, no, I've wasted my money here. And games were like 50, 60 quid back then, which might not sound a lot, but in terms of inflation, you're looking at over £100 per game. But actually, you were tracking down like serial killers and eliminating them, and once you figured out the flow of it, it was incredible. But this version also had new levels in it, new content that I'd never seen before, places like the salvage yard or the summer camp, and new audio and art updates, things like HD textures. But not only that, Nightdive also felt to tweak some of the gameplay elements. You forgot how bad the controls were in some of these back in the day, but now with a little bit of auto targeting, some rearrangement to certain stages to make it flow better, and obviously tweaks to AI, it plays almost the way you remember it rather than the way it played. Shadow Man Remastered is 65% off, £5.56. Yes, please. That goes on until May the 11th. Tiny Thor is another one that's on its lowest, 65% off, down to £5.86, and that's until May the 8th. This is a cracking 16-bit platform adventure, proper old school, but the best of old school, you know. You had boss fights in here as well, and a few new elements, like there's this shop that you can visit to customize, but there are a few stages in here, like you can throw your axe, what is it, Hjolnir? Oh, no, Mjolnir, that was it, something like that. You throw that thing around and then you can kind of follow it through the stage. But some of them you need to like toss it and then run, and then it's bouncing all over the place. You've got to time it just right. It's very difficult, this, surprisingly so. And it has these hardcore levels that you can optionally try if you're an absolute, well, you're a better player than me, let's put it that way. I'd say this launched a little expensive, but at £5.86, you will be delighted if you pick that up if you're a fan of the genre. I think developer Asylum Square did a cracking job. That sale for Tiny Thor goes on until May the 8th. Now it pains me to make the May the 4th be with you pun, so I'm not going to. I'll just let you say it to someone else. We've got Star Wars Dark Forces Remastered, down 45% to £13.74. That's its cheapest. That goes on until May the 11th. If you didn't play the original Star Wars Dark Forces, really good. Good first-person shooter, came out in '95. Kind of changed things a little. Actually, I guess it changed the fact that it was a good adaptation of a TV series or film, which is quite rare, and I think still to this day is quite rare, isn't it? You take on the role of Kyle Katarn, but it is another, like the Turok games, where they've moved the whole engine, so it's actually the Kex engine that they've developed. Full 3D, you can switch backwards and forwards between the old and the new effects and see how much better it looks. It is single player only. It's decent, it's 1.8 gigs, and that's for Star Wars Dark Forces Remaster. That sale goes on until May the 11th. I had to put Octopath Traveler 2 in here. Now, if you've not played the first one, grab that. You can actually buy the bundle pack as well at a really cheap price, so you've got choices here, you really do. But this is 50% off. It really represents the best of what Square Enix are doing at the moment, in my opinion. They've revitalized the RPG, JRPG scene, partly with the visual style and flair they're going for, but it's almost like a reimagining of pixel art without the tiredness that is slightly associated with it. Now I say that painfully a little bit because I like pixel art. There are a lot of people that just felt they needed that refresh. They needed something new to bring them back in. And HD 2D for many has done that. Now the issue will be if they overdo it, you know, if it becomes absolutely everything. They just need to make sure they don't saturate that visual style. But Octopath Traveler and its sequel are cracking examples of how well it can be done, and the games obviously are brilliant with a storyline that overlaps and intertwines, and then it all comes together at the end. Glen has a full review of this one. That's the footage you're seeing on the screen. So yeah, consider picking those up. They're 50% off until May the 6th. Now, although it's only available in the US regions and Canada, I did want to mention Laika Age Through Blood because it is such a Metroidvania hidden gem. It's half price over in your region until May the 15th. And it features like a motorbike, riding character who does get off the bike as well, but you're like doing tricks and stuff. And when you do a trick, it like slows down time, and you've got real-time twin stick controls to shoot enemies. You can also deflect bullets back to the enemy. There are boss fights in here. It's such a cool twist on the Metroidvania, and we loved it. We played through this one for a sponsored video, and it was really quite surprising just how enjoyable it was. And we'd never heard of it. We're like, what? Where's that come from? I think it was because it was originally due to release earlier and then it got delayed, something like that. I don't know, some malarkey. But it's not actually the visuals or the gameplay that stuck in my memory. It was the soundtrack. This has one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard. You wouldn't look at this and think, oh, that's going to have this really poignant, emotive soundtrack behind it, but it does. So yeah, if music is your thing, then this one might just be it. The story, about 17 to 20 hours as well, so a decent chunk, published by Thunderful and developed by Brainwash Gang. That's Laika Age Through Blood on its cheapest ever price in America and Canada. There's no way I could recommend Europa at full price. I just can't. Games aren't just about their length, like obviously, but there is a line where the base price is just a bit too much, I think. Europa is down 30%, that's its cheapest, to about £9.40, which is okay. It's about 4 or 5 hours long, so as you can see, that's where I'm having an issue, is just in the length of the game. There is a demo though, and it does tell a really nice tale. You're like returning to this planet, you find out some things about your heritage, but what I really liked was the movement. It has this real floaty kind of gliding mechanic, where it kind of felt a bit like something Nintendo would do in terms of the movement, like if they were just to create a new IP, you know, with something. And in that regard, I liked it a lot. I like the strange mystery of it. I felt like some of the writing was a little bit on the nose, like, yeah, I mean, you'll see. But overall, it left me thinking, yeah, I enjoyed that. You can see what they were trying to create. I think they mostly succeeded, but it would be a sales pickup. Now, Europa does, as I say, have a demo, but if you liked the demo and you wanted to buy it on sale, it's $9.44, 30% off until May the 14th.
Generation down a better path. Come to the island if you ever get lonely.
Last up on our main list, we've got Witch Spring R, 25% off, its lowest price until May the 15th. Still quite expensive, it's $26.99, which might sound like a lot. I guess it is a lot really, isn't it? But this is a brilliant story-driven RPG, another that we didn't expect to enjoy so much when we finally made a video for it. And it's one of those that has a lovely sense of self and also style. She's a bit of a savage, this girl, right? Like, she sees this creature flying in the air and she's like, oh, I need something that's got. Just shoots it out of the sky and it's just dead. So, oh wow, okay. You get different mounts as well that you can then ride around on. So you get like a little warthoggy pig thing early on. She's been playing her Atelier games as well, because you've got that side of it where you can brew different potions and stuff, improve and change your magic. And there are a few little tweaks to combat just to make things a bit more interesting, but also not as annoying, like being able to automate certain aspects of it. The cool thing about this is it was a small team that had originally worked on, I think like a, I don't know, like a fan or online version of this game, and then they went away and made like the full experience, improving on all of the visual aspects and then releasing it together, and people just loved it. Really enjoy this one. This might be my favorite of the week actually. As I say, the lowest ever price, 25% off until May the 11th on Which Spring Art. We have 5 juicy Savaloys for you to enjoy this week. The very cheap games that you can pick up. Sometimes guilty pleasures, but very often ridiculously cheap. Paradise Killer at 75% off takes it down to its lowest. It's a first-person open-world murder mystery set on a strange island that has existed for millions of years, where you control Lady Love Dies, who's investigating a cult-driven conspiracy. My word, that's a mouthful. Basically, you're just wandering around chatting to all these weird demigods, but it's really good. Big Farmer's an enjoyable strategy one, 90% off down to a ludicrously cheap price. It's basically a business sim where you're working out the logistics of each of these. They amount to puzzles, but you're trying to run this pharmaceutical empire. You'll be designing various products and optimizing your production lines. It's got just a tycoon feel to it, so you know what to expect there. Gumbird 2, a bit of a classic actually, returned to the Nintendo Switch. Also features local co-op for 2 players. Yes please, it's 66% off. A classic style vertical shmup, bullet hell. Yes please. Flooded from Forever Entertainment and developed by Artificial Disasters, appropriate name, is discounted 90%, just 228 megs. It's like a reverse city builder, where you basically have to build and optimize whilst the whole island gradually shrinks and you're trying not to get destroyed. Really quite addictive, this one, enjoyed it a lot. And last but not least, The Suicide of Rachel Foster from Daedalic and developed by 101 Games is 90% off. I played through this start to finish in one sitting. It's all set on this mysterious island and an abandoned hotel, and you're finding out secrets about this character's family. It's brutal. Yeah, it really is. Initially, I didn't like the end, and having played through a second time, I'm like, okay, I see what they're doing, I see why they did it. Ending a game or ending a film is always difficult, isn't it? So you want to end it with something poignant. So yeah, just don't expect sunshine and rainbows, I'll say that. No spoilers. So that is it for this week. Let me know in the comments, are you going to save yourself a bit of money on your eShop credit by going to SwitchUp.gg to buy your cashback? Are you going to stick around for FarmUp after the credits? There's only a few of us. If you enjoy the video, do tickle buttons, leave comments. As I say, we will be giving away a Switch 2 when they come out. But a thanks to all of you that enjoy the content. And as always, for all things Switch, all the time. Oh, tickle all the buttons if you want to. The algorithm likes that, apparently. Keep it Switch up. Cheers, guys. See ya! Alright, this is the real MVP, isn't it? FarmUp. Now, I will say, this is not my garden. This is an allotment. So, yeah, we're on allotment. Let's see if I can turn this thing around. How do you turn the camera around on an iPhone? Oh dear. Alright, so we've got strawberries. They're alive. That's good. Happy days. Potatoes. Don't know what's going on over here. Can't see anything coming out of there. Don't think they're potatoes. These are tomatoes. I actually need to bring these around, look, poor little fellows. Come on, you go like that. There we go, look. Happy days. Well done, Mr. Tomato. Tommy T. Oh, the slugs have been at it, you absolute jokers. No. No! My kale has been decimated by the annoying slugs. Onions are looking on point though, although I do need to do a bit of weeding. Look at those bad boys. I've got a load of wood up there. And more potatoes. We're having a potato competition. Everyone gets to claim one, and then whoever gets the biggest yield wins a prize. Look at that's the dump, by the way, that shed there. Look at the state of it. Council are supposed to be taking that away, but they haven't. So there you go. Yeah, so there you go. That's your FarmUp update. Farm update. It works. Nice. See you later.